Hello and welcome back to English Shadowing Podcast, your space to listen, repeat, shadow, and learn English at a slow, natural pace. I'm Alex, and I'm happy you're here. In this episode, I speak slowly. I use clear, simple words, and I repeat ideas so you can shadow my voice, practice your speaking, and build your confidence step by step. Today, we will talk about why you understand English but can't speak it. Not just quick reasons, but full ideas. What stops you from speaking? What happens when you try to talk? What is your speaking challenge like? By the end of this episode, you will be able to think about your speaking problems in English using clear and natural sentences. Let's begin. Why is it important to practice understanding why you can't speak English? It's important because this problem is real. It's something that happens to many learners every day. You know it well. You don't need to search for complicated explanations or ideas. You don't need to talk about advanced grammar, tests, or teachers. You just need to talk about your own experience. You can say why you listen well, what makes speaking hard. You can say if you feel scared, stuck, tired, or unsure. Here's the best part. When you describe your own speaking problem, you're practicing real English, useful English, English that you can use with teachers or friends in real life. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. When you talk about why you can't speak, you begin to think in English. You begin to speak more naturally. You use simple, complete sentences. You stop avoiding the issue, and you feel more confident when facing it. Let's take an example. Imagine you are talking to a language partner. They ask, "Why do you understand but can't speak?" Why do you understand but can't speak? If you've practiced before, you can answer. You can say, "I listen a lot but don't practice speaking." I feel shy in conversations. When I try, I forget words. Now, that's a full explanation. That's real self-awareness. And that is your goal. Even if you are alone, even if you're not in a group, even if you feel frustrated, you can still practice English by talking about why you can't speak. So whenever you don't know how to improve, start with something simple. Why do I understand reading but not speaking? What time do I practice? What did I listen to? Where did I get stuck? What will I do next? These are good questions. They help you remember reasons. They help you build strong speaking habits. They help you think in full sentences without stress. You can do this in the morning to plan your practice. You can do this in the evening to review your efforts. You can even write it down and read it back. The key is to keep it simple. Use the English you know. Don't worry about the problem. Just speak. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. One reason today, 2 reasons tomorrow. A whole solution next week. So today, let's build that skill together, step by step, word by word, one real sentence at a time. Okay, let's start at the beginning of the problem, the listening stage. Listening is a very important part of your learning. It builds understanding. It gives you input. And it's a perfect time to think in English, even for a few minutes. Now, let's practice some simple listening problem sentences together. If you'd like, repeat each one slowly, just like shadowing. I understand when I listen to slow English. Now, if you want, try repeating that. Sometimes I understand fast English but forget when speaking. Now you can repeat if you'd like. If I listen a lot, I feel ready but silent. I think about words for a few minutes and feel stuck. I like to take a note and list my issues. Then I feel clear. I go to my app and think about reasons. I think slowly and carefully for 2 points. Then I review them. It helps me see the gap. Sometimes I think about practice, especially if I feel low. When I think, I like to add details or listen to advice. After thinking, I feel motivated and start speaking. I try to keep my reasons clear and honest. Honest. Sometimes my issues are about fear or time. If I have doubts, I find new ways. Next, I move to my quiet spot and begin practice. I usually do something easy, like repeating a sentence or shadowing a clip. Sometimes I watch a video with simple talks. If I have more time, I shadow a full story. I like to practice without rush so I can improve. I drink water most sessions. Sometimes I drink tea because it feels calm and warm. While practicing, I sometimes note weak points or check my progress. Other days, I just focus on the flow and think positive. Before I finish, I think about my gains. I look at what I fixed and feel proud. I review my thoughts to see if I spoke better. I pack my mind with encouragement, my reasons, ideas, and small steps. Then I close my session and move on. Okay, let's shadow a story. My listening challenge. In this part, I will tell you a short story about my listening challenge. You can listen, then shadow each sentence if you'd like. You can pause after each line to repeat it slowly. Are you ready? Let's begin. In listening, I usually understand at a normal speed. Sometimes I miss faster talks if they're complex. I sit for a few minutes and think about the words. I list my gaps, take a breath, and slowly find answers. Then I open a clip and listen again for 2 minutes. After that, I repeat the hard parts. It really helps me catch more. If I feel lost, I slow the speed. I often think of context while I listen. It makes me understand and ready. After listening, I try speaking the same. I say a sentence or repeat basics. I take a short break to clear my ears. During the break, I drink water and relax. I hear sounds outside and feel calm. Then I go back to listening until I get it. I check my understanding and feel good. At the end, I close the clip and plan more. Okay, let's say a few final practice sentences together. Again, you can repeat right after me if you'd like. Every listening session is a little different, but I try to follow a good pattern. When I listen in English, I feel more aware. I'm proud of my efforts, and I will keep going. Now, let's move to the speaking, the hard part of the problem. Many people struggle with speaking. Some feel shy, some forget words, some fear mistakes. Whatever you face, speaking is a good time to use English. Even if it's tough, you can still think, you can still repeat, you can still practice, even for just 5 or 10 minutes. Let's learn some common speaking problem sentences together. If you'd like, repeat after me, slowly and clearly. When I try to speak, I forget words. Sometimes I feel nervous after I start. I think about sentences and plan my talk. I often read tips from other learners. I usually take a breath when I feel stuck. Sometimes I talk to a mirror to get better. If I worry, I remember my listening skills. I like to list 3 ways to improve. In the hard time, I sit quietly and think deeply. I see progress inside and feel better. Then I go back to speaking until I flow. I check my words and feel strong. At the end of the speaking, I feel tired but happy. Now let's shadow a speaking story. My speaking routine. Listen first, then shadow each sentence if you'd like. Pause to repeat slowly. Ready? Let's go. In speaking, I notice the problem at about midday. Sometimes I feel it sooner if talking is hard. I stop for a few minutes and think about the block. I list my fears, take a breath, and slowly find a path. After that, I open my mouth and say easy words for 2 minutes. It really helps me start. If I feel shy, I practice alone. I often share with a friend while I talk. It makes me feel supported and ready. After sharing, I try new sentences. I speak a story or finish a thought. I take a 5-minute break to relax my voice. During the break, I drink tea and look out. I see calm outside and feel better. Then I return to speaking until evening. I review my words and feel good. At the end, I end the challenge and plan ahead. Okay, let's practice a few more sentences. If you'd like, repeat after me. Speaking problems are common but fixable. I learn from my quiet times. I'm happy when I speak freely. Now, let's go to the solutions, the good parts of learning. Solutions are when many people feel hope. Some try new ways, some share, some keep trying. It's a good time to use English in a positive way. Let's practice some solution sentences. Repeat if you'd like. In solutions, I start at 10 o'clock. I change my mind to positive. I note my ways in my journal. I make simple plans like steps to follow. Sometimes I share if I'm ready. I think with joy or alone. We talk about fixes while planning. After that, I test new ideas. Then I relax and think of success. I watch a clip or read tips. If I have strength, I practice more. I like to message a pal and ask. Beforehand, I set for tomorrow. I feel the solution and move on. Now, let's shadow a solution story. My solution routine. Listen and shadow if you'd like. Ready? In solutions, I notice them at about evening. Sometimes I find them sooner if I think hard. I pause for a few minutes and smile about the fix. I list my ways, take a breath, and slowly apply. Then I try a method and see for 2 minutes. After that, I adjust the hard parts. It really helps me improve. If I doubt old ways, I test new ones. I often think of next steps while I solve. It makes me eager and ready. After thinking, I share with a group or friend. I tell a short plan or send a note. I take a moment to celebrate with joy. During the moment, I sip a drink and look back. I feel pride inside and feel calm. Then I plan for more until night. I check my growth and feel strong. At the end, I close my day positive. Okay, that's our practice for thinking in English about motivation. Thank you for joining English Shadowing Podcast. If this episode on why you understand but can't speak helped you, please subscribe on YouTube for more. Like the video and comment below, what's one reason you can't speak? Your comments help us connect. See you next time.